Hi everyone and welcome to today's Chrissy B Show, and I'm your host Chrissy B. Now, although exciting, going to college or starting university can be a stressful experience because often it involves changes such as leaving home and moving to a new area, meeting new people and learning to manage on a tight budget. The way you deal with all of these things is key to whether or not you develop a mental health problem possibly. Although NHS.UK says that stress is a natural feeling designed to help you cope in challenging situations, in small amounts is good because it pushes you to work hard and do your best, including in exams. So how can you as a student ensure that normal levels of stress don't go on to be abnormal? That's what we're going to be focusing on today's programme. If you're a student, do let us know what stresses you out and how you are trying to deal with it. Or maybe you found something amazing that works for you and you'd like to share it with us. Do get in touch on our email address, info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet or Instagram us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. So now let me tell you what's on today's programme. Our resident psychologist, Dr Audrey Tang, is back to discuss how best to prepare for uni, and Helena Shard will be giving us a helping of happy in her news segment. Now, a cluttered environment can lead to quite a cluttered mind, and that's why expert Sally Warford is here today. She'll be demonstrating how to create a good study environment and also discuss to-do and revision lists. And we know that finances can be tight at uni, and we don't want all you students to start eating cheap junk food that won't feed your brain or body properly. So Severing Menem is on hand with inexpensive ideas for healthy meals. And many students listen to music to relax whilst at uni or even when they're studying. So we have a performance by the young lady with the soothing voice, Jade Cuttle. And if you can't afford a gym membership but want to stay fit while studying, Natalia Kotowska will be sharing some exercises that you can do anywhere. And I'll also be giving you a couple of ideas of things to do if you want to get away from the books for a while for a break. There's ice climbing, which is quite challenging, and also a free zoo that you can go to. But first up, let's join Dr Audrey Tang in our Psychology Matters segment. Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Thanks for having me, Chrissy.
So what are the main things that you would say, in your opinion, stress students out the most?
The whole problem with university now is it's not the same as university, at least when I was going to uni. Now, unfortunately, you do leave with a lot of debt. Yeah. And also there's no guarantee that that particular choice of subject is necessarily going to lead you into a job. And then you hear these horror stories about needing a master's to get a job in a coffee shop or something like that. And so it's already quite a frightening environment. Yeah. It's worse because you also then have to specify, and then what if you choose wrongly? What if you're not quite ready to go? And it's a very different environment to school itself. With school, to some extent, you're supported. You've been there for such a long time. You know the people, you know the staff. Yeah. And then suddenly, you go to university and it can feel very much like you completely being out of your depth, because you might have been a very big fish in a small pond at school, but suddenly you're meeting so many people who are very different, who are better than you, who have got so many different experiences, and of course we can't help but compare ourselves as well. So those are frightening. On top of that, you're leaving home, so you may not even have the security of mum or dad or any caregiver or your friends. Then you might be forming new relationships, new friendships. What do you do with the old ones? There's so much going on that somebody who's really at quite a young age still has to navigate through. And so those are the stresses even before we get there.
Okay, and once you get there.
And then once you get there, once you get there, of course, you've got every single lecturer saying to you, you must study hard in my class and you must pass my exams, and you must know about this, you must know about that. Otherwise, you've got so much competition going on. And that's already stressful because that poor child has gone into university thinking, I'm coming out in debt, there's so much pressure on me, probably from parents at home as well. And then everyone's telling me I must do this, I must do that. Also, I've got no guarantee of a job, and so on. So those can cause problems. Then when you're at university itself, the lifestyle can be a little bit different to what you've been used to. There may be more parties, there may be a bit more experimenting. All of that can be quite detrimental to your health. And when you have to get up to go to lectures as well and keep on top of your studies, and if you're taking a part-time job to pay for your studies, all of that can cause a great deal of stress for young people.
It's kind of quite off-putting, isn't it?
It really is.
About it. But there is a way to do it properly.
Yes, there is.
Or the best way.
I would always say, really think about it. University is not the be-all and end-all of everything anymore. It used to be, or it used to be a little bit different, but it is not the be-all and end-all. So now, If maybe you've gone to your universities, you've taken your first choice, but you maybe haven't got the grades for that, don't rush into your fallback straight away. The reason I say that is, say your first choice is where you want it to be, all of the exciting places, maybe you want it to be in London, and your second choice is the back of beyond of somewhere else. It's not going to be the environment you're going to want. You're then going to be unhappy, you'll then leave, and then that causes more stress because you'll feel as if you're in debt and then you don't know what to do. So sometimes maybe take that year out and work and get that life experience. You don't have to go straight away.
Yeah,
However,
there's plenty of mature students now,
of course.
isn't there? Like, even like 20 years ago when I was at uni, there were much older people than me on my course.
Absolutely, and it's really interesting to learn from those people as well. So don't feel pressured into going. The second thing is, parents can help as well. Don't be a helicopter parent. Don't be there all the time, and don't send your child with packed lunches to put in the freezer every day. It doesn't help them grow and learn when they're living on their own. But at the same time, don't dismiss them completely. Try and stay in touch in a way that suits both of you.
Okay.
Try and keep in touch with maybe your old friends as well, because that's always quite nice and that is a bit of comfort. But then don't hide away from making new friends either. But also, the friends you make in Freshers Week are not necessarily going to be your friends for life. So don't feel as if, oh my goodness, I've made this friend now, I must keep them for the rest of uni. It doesn't quite work that way. So there's a few things that you can do. Take advantage of everything the university has to offer as well. I come in to unis when it comes to student enrichment, so I run a lot of classes on things like mindfulness and wellbeing. And whilst you may not necessarily feel as overwhelmed to want to speak to a counsellor, there will be other things available to you. You just sometimes need to go out and look for them. It's not
that can even prevent things from developing, can't it? Yeah.
Exactly. We're not trying to hide anything from you. It just may be that we forget to mention it during induction week, that these things are as opportunities there for you. But yeah, absolutely, go looking for them, and do talk if you are feeling stressed, if you are feeling overwhelmed. But again, don't feel you have to talk to the counsellor or you have to talk to the designated person. If there is somebody that you get on better with, speak to them. They will at least be able to signpost you in the right direction.
So, Audrey, since you work mainly with students, do you have any study tips that you can share?
Don't put things off. So if you get an assignment, do start some of the reading straight away. Don't think, oh, well, I've got 3 weeks until this deadline.
It seems like you've got forever, doesn't it?
It really does. But that's for one subject. And then you'll have another lecture and they'll give you another deadline and then another one, and then it will pile up. So try and get a little bit done each day. I always find being organised with notes, having things in certain either folders or files, something like that, that really helps. Knowing what it is you have to do. And please ask. If you don't know what you're doing, please ask. The best way of dealing with lecturers, and they are very busy and sometimes they don't always have time to answer every question, is come prepared with questions. And that way it shows that lecturer that you've taken the trouble to read over what it is you have to do. You are taking ownership, you're just a bit confused. It can just get worse if you start asking each other and you all haven't quite grasped it, and then it causes more problems. So ask, but actually make sure you know what you're asking when you do ask.
Okay.
Do make time to go out and spend time with friends as well, though. Don't feel you have to study all the time. And if you are in the library and you're literally just sitting in front of a blank computer screen and reading the same passage again and again and again, that doesn't count as library time. So if you are feeling like that, actually give yourself a break, because you're not going to do anything well for yourself just keeping on staring at it. So try and get out as well. Remember to... Well, the last thing I'd say is probably remember to value yourself enough to make the right choices for you.
Yeah, definitely. Audrey, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again next week.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, now everybody, it's time to go to Jade Cuttle for a musical performance. Now, I love Jade's voice. It's extremely soothing and she's absolutely lovely to listen to. And we all know that obviously that music can also help many students to study or even to relax later on. So let's take a look at this.
Branches stripped back to bare bone, this tree's never felt so alone as now. Even though it's lost its leaves, it's haunted by the memory of warmth. bound, two hands too tight. The trace of touch is left behind is where it all goes wrong. But if I dwell upon the cracks inside my bones, then I'll collapse, and I don't want that. Again. But maybe I'm not made of leaves, and holding hands is what I need to grow. Lovers never leave outside, the shadow haunts our memory and mind. His heart is holy, his skin sacred to touch, and he holds me so tightly, and I like him very much. Of time, this anchor in my mind, it holds my heart in place. The ghost of your grasp, its warmth will last until the day I turn cold. I turn cold.
Thanks very much to Jade there. Well, after the break, we have on Helena Shard with positive news. And also we know that finances can be tight at uni, so Severin Menem will be showing us inexpensive ideas for healthy meals. Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everyone, and now it's time for a helping of happy with Helena Shard, who's going to be talking about some student news. Welcome to the show, Helena.
Thank you, Chrissy. Always love it. So really good. I was reading The Guardian, and they brought out their 2019 university guide, and fantastic to see that they're talking about student wellbeing. So it's not just about tables, you know. So it's really good. And I'm going to talk about Elliot Bush, and I think that Elliot would have wishes that he'd thought more about mental health and things. He, when thinking about university, was thinking about module options and grade requirements. As a teenager, he'd experienced mental health issues, anxiety, hearing voices, but he'd always managed to do his schoolwork, got his grades, and everything's fine. Now at 21, he didn't think it would be an issue at uni, but he was very much mistaken. Where he, after I think 5 weeks into his first term, and everything, it just sort of all crashed in on him. He wasn't sleeping, he found it hard to make friends, he stopped taking his medication because he didn't think it would work. He didn't have any support in place at all, and realised that that was a really big mistake. But the good thing is he took a year out and decided to really turn things around when he was applying via UCAS, and actually wanted a new place, researched, preparation, looked at all the wellbeing services offered in all the different universities. So really thoroughly trawled it, which is good. And found somewhere really fabulous that had local GP, wellbeing, medical service, counselling service on hand, and lots of mentors. So it was absolutely perfect for.
That's great.
So doing really, really well.
So it's worth making that little extra effort to make sure that you know what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. As we know, financial worries are partly to blame for the rise in students seeking counselling. And I was really surprised, something new that's just come up. It's two-prong. One, it's about trying to make more money, because obviously being in debt, but two, having too much freedom at university, given an opportunity to borrow loads of money and gamble. Now, this is a madness. So it's a student gambling epidemic that we're in. I mean, over 100,000 people. So it was
joking?
Yeah, so I was reading an article, 3 students were talking about what happened to them. And the madness is it's driven these particular students to academic failure, bankruptcy, mental health challenges, and really just switching off completely, because once you're in that frame of mind, the last thing you can do is study.
Just thinking about gambling.
It's just incredible. So, and if in their particular dorm, if you didn't gamble, you were the odd one out, which is so peculiar. They got very, very depressed, and obviously the more money they lost, they were gambling more to try and make it up. But not only did they have their student debt, you can imagine this debt, which obviously needs to be paid off quicker. And this is one of them. So I would use my student loan almost as soon as I received it. Hours and hours of free time during the day at university didn't suit me well. Every man and his dog in my year gambled. Then you'd always try to make your losses back. So ending up just doing any work to make it up. And also one of them said,
study like that? It's impossible.
You can't. But I mean, you have to get help. I think that was the main thing they were saying. You have to tell people this is, because obviously we know as well how addicted you can get to these things, and just terrible. So, and also they gambled as a form of escapism. They were actually incredibly bored on a deeper level and wanted to distract themselves from being emotionally honest, because they weren't happy in university at all. And it sort of makes you think about 2 things, because not everyone, you don't have to go to university. No. Maybe you're more suited to something else. So anyway, that's quite shocking, isn't it?
It is. I had no idea that was going on at uni.
Nor did I. A new dramatic shift in how we treat depression. There's a new tool that's come out. Really, it's an app, I suppose, and it's called Woebot, W-O-E-B-O-T, which is a funny name. Alison Darcy, a clinical psychologist at Stanford University, has brought it out, and it's really based on this cognitive behavioural therapy, that kind of idea, and it delivers scripted responses to users. But it's really quite positive, and it's an app that tells you when you're being too hard on yourself.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite unusual. Obviously, it doesn't take away from real people, but I think it's good. It's a new app, and I think a lovely story, which a simple way to make a big difference in the world. And this is about Rodney. And when he was 17, he checked out of foster care and went into a homeless shelter. And he always wanted to study. He did. At 17, he'd actually take his sponge into the bathroom and clean himself up, and no one knew his actual personal situation. And at the start of the senior year, something great happened for him and set him on a new path, and he met a mentor. In fact, he met a couple of mentors, and education saved his life. It really turned everything around. He graduated from Harvard. In fact, he got 2 degrees in the end. And the funny thing is, his particular situation, low-income community, and didn't have any positive role models, etc. But his success stemmed from his ability to survive and basically introduce mentors into his life. And he's done so well. He's an inspirational speaker now. But I think the main thing is it's mentors, success, and basically you can achieve anything.
Yeah, brilliant. Nice.
So,
Helena, thank you so much, my love.
That's okay.
And we'll see you again next week for more news.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, everyone, now it's time to go to our lovely nutritionist, Severine Menem. Welcome to the show, Severine.
Hi, Christine.
So today we're going to be helping the students out there. So in your opinion, what foods are great for people that are studying?
For students, we need some kind of sugar, complex sugar, and some good fats.
Okay.
and lots of water, because the brain is made up of water mainly and fats.
Okay,
So
can you give us a few examples of the sugar that you mentioned and what kind of stuff?
Complex carbohydrates, some like whole grain bread, or starches such as sweet potato, all the butternut squash and so on.
Why is that so good, especially for students, would you say?
Because
for everyone, I suppose, but especially those that
because the brain uses sugar as a fuel, so you need to have some of them. And if they are single sugar, then you will get very hungry very quickly, and that's not what you want.
Okay.
You will get the sugar high and rush and
Okay, and the water just keeps
and
hydrated.
the water keeps the brain hydrated, so you will keep the focus, and it will be much easier.
Okay, so another issue that many students have, especially if they've actually left home to go to uni, it's maybe they don't have much money.
Yes.
They kind of some tend to eat junk food that isn't good for them. It doesn't help them with their studies, and it makes them feel tired as well.
Absolutely.
What kind of cheap things would you recommend then that students can eat, and what are you making for us today?
Okay, so today we're making avocado and sardine sandwich. So in my opinion, it's pretty cheap, because a sardine can be under £1.
Yeah.
Bread can be very cheap as well, and you can find some avocado on special offer.
Yes. Okay.
So it's all good.
Does this include the complex carbs that you're talking about? Sugar, or
yes.
is that...
Well, it depends on the bread you would buy.
Okay.
But you can find bread on discount as well.
Okay, cool. All right then, so take it away, Severine.
Okay, let's get started. So you simply, I know not everyone likes sardine, but it's really good in omega-3.
Okay.
So you can always try with a little bit and then add more as you progress in your taste.
Yeah.
And then, so I would mash half avocado,
Okay.
which pretty much everyone likes. Mashed avocado on toast, so that's good.
Would you like me to mash?
Oh yeah, if you'd like
I can
to.
help today, no problem.
Yes, if you'd like to
And
do
I
that.
promise not to eat it until afterwards.
Yeah, try it afterwards. Oops.
Okay.
There's a bit of that, and let's do one, okay?
Are you going to put we mash it together with the fish?
Yeah,
oh,
together.
okay, all
Let's-
right.
Well, students, they don't have money and they don't have time, so it has to be
That's true.
very efficient.
Okie dokie. And it's all right to eat these little bones from the sardine?
Yes, bones are actually really high in calcium, so if you've got
that's
some
good.
intolerance to dairy, that's a very good way to get your calcium intake.
Yeah, okay.
So just for information, I mentioned the good fats. These fats are unsaturated fat, and the avocado is monounsaturated fat, and the sardine is polyunsaturated fat, omega-3.
Okay, is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough. And the good thing is you can add different flavors. So you can add some ketchup, which is not ideal, but has some lycopene, so good phytonutrients. You can have some soy sauce, some mayo, some mustard. You can always make it a bit different.
So, optional things.
So
okay.
we're ready for the last stage, the sandwich making. So let's take a slice of bread. This one is rye bread, so it's really good. It's brown and it says, yum.
And none of those horrible emulsifier things that we spoke about the other... Remember we spoke about emulsifiers in bread?
Yes, well, I checked and there isn't any in this one.
Yes. That's why we boycotted the other bread. But anyway, as we said, the other bread is cheap.
It's
so
cheaper,
you can just look for
and
one without emulsifiers.
Exactly, and if you can get a non-white one, that's usually better. So here we are.
Simple,
ready,
quick and done, and very nutritious. Good to eat before studying.
Yeah, before, during, after,
all the time. All right then, brilliant.
Whenever.
So there you go, guys. Very simple sandwich to make and full of nutrients and also super cheap.
Yes.
And it keeps you full, doesn't it, as well? Especially
Absolutely,
this kind of bread.
It's very important to have fats because it really keeps you full for longer.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Should we move on to the next part now?
Yes.
So the next part is to answer your questions, everybody. And if you have a question for any of our nutritionists, all you need to do is email us on nutrition@chrissybshow.tv. So first question, Severine. This person says, I feel constantly hungry when I'm about to get my period. Are there any foods that can help get rid of cravings?
Okay, that's a tricky one. Usually when you're hungry and you have cravings during your PMS, it's a problem with blood sugar balancing, so there are a lot of things that you can do. No specific food would help, but a number of action can help. So eating on a regular basis, like every 4 hours, keeping hydrated, Removing certain foods such as coffee, alcohol, processed food, gluten, dairy, you know, the usual suspect. And what I found really, really helped with that is to have 1 medium banana, half an avocado, and a handful of mixed nuts throughout the day.
And that will help.
The week before the PMS, and that usually helps.
All right, brilliant. Okay, nice. Next one. I hear nutritionists saying that we shouldn't count calories because you could end up eating bad food. However, if I count calories but eat only healthy food, isn't that okay?
Well, I'm part of those nutritionists who think that you should never ever count calories. Obviously, there are exceptions. If they are athletes and they need to be under and above calories, then they should definitely do that. But if you eat healthily, why would you need to count calories? I think it's just a number, and you need to take into account more the nutrition side of things in order to be healthy. But obviously, I don't know enough to be able to say anything about this case.
All right, and we have one more question, Severine. I have about 7 pounds to lose, and I'm finding it almost impossible to shift. I don't seem to have much motivation. I'm considering carb cycling. Is this something you would recommend?
For someone who doesn't have motivation, unfortunately, I would not recommend it, because carb cycling is very complex and you have to really count calories and macronutrients, and that would be probably too difficult because of the level of motivation. But 7 pounds is not that much, and what usually works is changing one habit at a time. So you add one habit 1 week and then another one, and then I'm pretty sure within 2 months you will get rid of that.
What kind of things then can a person do, like in terms of habits, when you say
of habits? Well, for example, the one that I suggested for the PMS, like keeping hydrated, eating on a regular basis, like every 4 hours, cutting the coffee, the alcohol, well, cutting or reducing, you know, the gluten, the dairy, all the fried foods, all the sugar or added sugar, that can really help. And eating a lot more vegetable, less fruits.
Okay, so that's why you're saying, like, because obviously if a person tries to do that all at once, it's not going to be possible.
Really hard to succeed all at once. But if you focus on one habit at a time, and then you add a habit every week, then it will definitely work. That's how I work with my clients to lose weight, and it does work.
Okay, brilliant. Severine, thank you so much for coming to speak to us today.
Thank you, Chrissy.
And we'll see you again next time. And everyone, if you'd like more information about Severine, all you need to do is visit our website, chrissybshow.tv, scroll down, and you can find all of our resident guests there. Now, a cluttered environment can lead to quite a cluttered mind, and that's why expert Sally Walford is here today. She'll be demonstrating how to create a good study environment and also discuss to-do and revision lists. And if you can't afford a gym membership but want to stay fit while studying, Natalia Kotowska will be sharing some exercises that you can do anywhere. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where today we are helping the students out there. And as we said earlier, a cluttered environment can lead to quite a cluttered mind. And that's why we have on expert Sally Walford today. She'll be demonstrating how to create a good study environment and also discuss to-do and revision lists. Welcome to the show, Sally.
Thank you very much, Chrissy. It's great to be back.
It's lovely to have you back on, because you know I love this segment very much, because I love decluttering. So show us what you're going to talk about today. How are you going to help our students?
Being in a really pressured environment, as some students are, or far away from home, it's really easy to get into the habit of being cluttered, and therefore you end up not focused, nervous, panicking, rushing things, not completing things. So as you said before, living in a clutter-free environment gives you focus, stops procrastination, helps you move forward. So I wanted to show 3 ways really that perhaps students could see if they were starting to feel overwhelmed or cluttered in their environment, and also how to get rid of that and give yourself a really good study environment, one that's going to get you to focus and also get you to live in a much calmer environment when the pressure's on.
Cool. So let's take it away, Sally.
Okay, great. Thanks. So, first of all, I want to start with this mess. And I know that we've done a segment before on desks, but I think if you are living in the same place where your desk is and your desk is starting to look like this,
yes,
this is a sure sign that you're starting to feel overwhelmed. It's great to have a rubbish bin to put all your rubbish in, but when it starts to accumulate on top of the surface, that means that there is severe anxiety creeping in. So just be really aware that if your desk is starting to look a little bit like this, it's easily resolvable. And I always think with procrastination, I'd say to my clients, breathe in and let's just do it. Let's do it. So, and that's going to stop, even if it's just for 3 seconds, just to clear away some rubbish. Let's do that. Go on. And that's going to already start to make you feel a little bit less panicky in that environment. Okay. So, not only that, always have a place for everything, which of course I love. So we'll just make sure that the pens and pencils are in one place. Let's get rid of the scrap paper and these old Post-its. Okay. So.
Files, I love files.
Yes, and as I absolutely adore coloured folders, it's actually quite interesting that colour can help you memorise things. So this is a really good tool, especially for students. And funnily enough, I was with a client at the weekend, and she's a mature student, and she found that this really helped her remember different subjects. So, for example, she had the pink folder, and I think she'd labelled it Pauline, who was the name of her tutor, which then reminded her, and then all her whole work was on pink paper as well. So yeah, it really clicks something in her memory. So that could be a useful tool. But also, it's going to separate everything, and it's going to look all really neat
and tidy. Yes, how we like it.
And organised, and that's going to get you focused and back on track.
Brilliant. Okay.
Okay. So my next thing, we talked about revision lists and to-do lists. These are quite tricky actually, because a to-do list can actually become part of procrastination quite easily.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's very easy. If your to-do list looks a bit like this, it's chaotic, isn't it? And that's a bit like the desk environment as well. So you're going to find it really difficult to understand what you're doing. And actually, you could spend ages just adding to it. You know. So my suggestion, get rid of all of them. Take them all off and let's start again. Again, let's breathe and do it. Just take them all off. I think what most people find is that I'm already feeling calmer from that. I don't know about you.
Start getting agitated over the rubbish.
But what most people do is when they are given quite large projects, they're getting overwhelmed by the project itself, which is why the Post-its go on and it's getting more and more overwhelming. Instead of doing that, there's always bits that you can do from a project that aren't the main focus. So do the little tasks, say, for example, the title page, or if you've got to do a drawing, do that first. Do all the little bits, pick away at the projects. Give yourself little things to do. Because what you find is if you haven't done those, and you're getting to the end of the term, and you've got to hand in a dissertation or whatever, then you're going to be rushing those little bits as well as trying to focus on your main project. And you're going to make quite a few mistakes by doing that because you've made yourself overwhelmed by it. So pick away at your projects. Give yourself one thing to do. Little bit every day, even the bits that you might not find quite so interesting. And you will eventually get all the time you need to focus on the main project.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Great idea. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. Now, this is quite a common thing that you might find in a student's study or room or on the floor. And I just wanted to bring to the attention, this is something that might trigger somebody to go, I'm feeling a bit agitated and anxious. So if you've started noticing that you haven't made your bed, that clothes are accumulating on the floor, again, this is a sign of anxiety, and just be aware of it. Suddenly start to breathe, and again, put your things away, make your bed. Otherwise, it's almost like a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
The anxiety then is kicking in, it's making you procrastinate, it's then making you feel more overwhelmed, and then you're just in a vicious circle, and then you start not really caring, which is what this is. So, you know, to get out of that cycle, just 3 little signs that you might be able to pick up on, so that you could go to a friend and say, feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And there's some tips for you to try and get back on track. So yeah, folding, putting away, putting laundry in a laundry basket, although it's so simple, can transform a study from a cluttered environment into somewhere calm. So once we've got rid of those, there we go. Last little bit.
There you go.
Always have things that make you smile and make you feel happy. And as I said, I'm not a minimalist, and I don't think you should have a completely white desk with 1 pen. You know, but you know, give yourself a break and give yourself a nice environment that's going to help you focus, as well as being clear, organised. It's also going to make you smile, and it's going to make you want to do your work.
Yeah, it's so important. Thank you,
really
Sally.
important.
I really agree. And even what you're saying about the bed, like when a bed is unmade, because the bed takes up quite a bit of space, doesn't it, in the bedroom? Sometimes. And, you know, if that's not made, it does make the place look really messy, and then, like you said, things can accumulate. But if you just keep on top of those things bit by bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And treat yourself to something nice.
Treat yourself to something nice. Yes, give yourself some rewards as well.
Definitely. Sally, thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again very soon.
Yes, thanks very much, Chrissy.
Thank you. Well, everyone, now we have on Natalia Kotoska, who's going to be showing us an exercise routine that you can do in maybe even a small space, because sometimes I know students don't have very much space in their halls of residence and places that they're staying. So this one you can do in a small space, and also sometimes maybe students don't exercise because they can't afford the gym membership. This is something that's completely free, of course, and as we know, exercise is very, very good for helping with stress and anxiety. So let's go to Natalia.
Hey guys, it's me and Katie Wood with Nat, your fitness expert. And today we're gonna concentrate on functional movement, our upper body core. The movement is called the mountain climbers. I will show you 3 different variations that you can do back to back. So stay with me. Again, on our lovely mat, I love that green color. So, hands above your shoulders, nice stable posture. Hold it with whole entire body, so engage all muscles, your toes, your hamstring, your glutes, your quads, your core. Nice and stable position, straight back, hold it with your belly again. Tuck your belly button in. We're gonna go straight. You wanna go as fast as you can count it. You can say 10 each leg or 20 in total. You go straight. Bring your knees as close to your chest as possible, yeah? So you go straight, 10, 20 each. Then you move side. So we're working our obliques mainly, engaging that core. To the side. Again, you wanna go for 10 each leg or 20 in total, or even more. You can hold it with a timer. So you go for 90 seconds, let's say, or 60 seconds, or 2 minutes, or 10, 20 each leg. And the third one, a little bit more advanced, you go outside, knee is touching your elbow, bring it back in, outside, keep breathing all the time. I'm tired already. 1, and again, and again, and again. There you go. So you have nice, big movement, whole body, all muscles engage, from your upper body to your core, to your lower body. 3 variations of mountain climbers. Straight, side to side, and knee outside, knee outside. Try to touch your elbow, if you can. So that's it. Very good functional movement, guys. Please, please try it at home, at work, outdoor, anywhere, in the park, wherever you are, and have fun with it. I will see you later. Thank you for watching.
Thanks very much to Natalia. Well, stay tuned, because after the break, I'll be showing you a couple of ideas of things to do if you want to get away from the books for a while. Welcome Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, and today's program has been all about helping students. So if you've missed the beginning of this program, we have had lots and lots of advice throughout the program, so please do head over to our YouTube channel tomorrow and you will find the program there that you can watch from the beginning, and the YouTube channel is Chrissy B Show. So now it's time to give you a couple of ideas of things that you can do whilst you're studying. The first one is ice climbing, and this is for you that like a bit of a challenge and you just want to get away from the books for a while and do something completely different. Let's take a look. Hi everyone, I'm here with Nacho, who's the manager at Vertical Chill, and I'm going to be trying something I've never done before, which is ice climbing. Hello Nacho.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Looking forward to this, something I've not done. So can you tell us what's involved in this climb?
Okay, so first we will introduce you to the the technique, the 5 points technique. That is the most basic technique in terms of ice climbing. Then we'll get you to practice a little bit, and then we'll get you to do the slab, that is your easiest route. And then depending how you do, then we get you to try harder things, or we try to improve the technique depending.
Do you have to have a certain fitness level to be able to do something like this?
Not at all. We got people that have never, well actually 99% of the people that come here, they've never done ice climbing in life.
Now Nacho, we are actually inside a shop. How was the idea come about to actually have this here in Ellis Brigham?
It's kind of like to promote the shop. It's kind of, it make us kind of advertisement. It's a good thing to have here because we get like a lot of people that have never had an experience in terms of ice wall climbing.
That is quite unique because I had no idea. You don't expect to walk into a shop and have this inside, so it's really good. And in terms of the benefits for a person of doing something like this, what would you say that would be?
Well, it's very good exercise, and I don't know, you get to meet a lot of really nice people, and it makes you really strong as well. Like, it's always a good thing.
So your 5 points are 1 and 2 your axis, 3 and 4 crampons, and the 5th is your hips, your body weight. Very important one. When climbing, you want to have your feet wide apart and your axis narrow. It's kind of like triangle shape that's going to keep you in balance all the time. Now, once you get the axis in, most people tend to hold themselves very tight. Relax your arms, get your hips out so you can see where you're going to kick next. Then kick in, and then get your hips in.
That looks so hard.
If you look at the spikes, they're pointing down. So for them to get into the ice, you need to kick your toes a bit higher than heel. We're going to do a couple of steps for practicing. Just let it to go too high, okay?
Don't move it.
Oh. Well, that cracked around. You see it cracked a bit? I will take it off. And,
No, it's loose. We could be here a while, guys.
That was solid.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, kick wide apart. Okay. Now look when you're going to kick with your right one. It's going to hold.
Okay.
You need to trust it, okay? That's it. Now get your hips in.
This feels really scary.
No, don't tiptoe. Hips is, you need to get your hips in and your shoulders slightly further back. No, shoulders. Get your shoulders. That is the position.
Okay,
right?
can I get a rope now?
You see, it's quite around. That looks more solid. Get your arms straight, hips out, okay? So you can see where you're going to kick next. Alright? Now kick a few inches higher. Don't need to go too high. Just a few inches higher.
I feel like I'm going to fall.
Along with that right foot. That's it. Now keep your left foot same level. Yeah, trust it. That's it.
Oh, God,
keep it in, keep it in. Okay. Now keep your feet still and then your hips in.
This is so scary.
So as you go up, I'll be taking the rope. If it is coming, just don't push it.
I can't see my foot. I think has that gone in?
Oh, whack it again. Oh, that crack, you see it's going to come off.
Oh, okay.
It's okay, there's plenty.
Shall I do another one?
You can break as much as you want.
Okay. Can't get this one out now, shall I? Oh. Got a mouthful of ice. Goodness me. I forgot what I'm doing. My hips. Oh God, that was tiring. Can I let go? Huh? That was hard. Thank you. Hey guys, I've completed my challenge. I have to say I did find it very difficult, but also I'm glad I managed to sort of get to the top, although I had to rest in between, didn't I, Nacho?
Yes, but it's okay. Most people have to. It's all right. Like usually when you do really long routes, you place ice screws on the ice, and then once you clip the rope, you can have a bit of a rest. Otherwise, you get like really, really pumped.
So this is Shireen, everyone, and she was flying the flag for the females, weren't you? Made it look so easy, I have to say.
Thank you. Once you get a few times on it, it gets easier.
So what do you like about it the most?
I love to challenge myself. I love physical challenges.
Now, you were telling me earlier that more and more females are getting into climbing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before, especially rock climbing, I think this is not as accessible for everyone. Where rock climbing before it was a very male-dominant, especially indoor rock climbing, very male-dominant areas. You know, you got a lot of topless men grunting their way up overhangs. But right now, there's a lot of females out there. I'm a mom myself, and I climb with a bunch of moms. It works all your body. It's social. It's fun, so you don't feel you're actually working out. So it's great fun. Yeah.
And that's how you're supposed to do. So that was definitely a big challenge for me. Now you might be saying that, you can't really afford to pay for any experiences or activities. Well, don't worry, because we do have another idea for you that is completely free, and it's a lovely day out. Here's Golders Hill Park Zoo. I'm here with Emily from the Golders Hill Park Zoo, and she's going to tell us a bit about what they do here. Hi, Emily. It's a lovely place. I see you've got, what's this donkey called?
This is Calypso.
One behind us as well.
Yep, she's called Sienna and she's Calypso's mum.
Okay, so how long has this zoo actually been here?
We've had animals here since 1905. We got deer first, and then since then we've always had deer at the park, but we've also had a range of different species as well. We've got 77 animals in total at the moment.
What's the most popular one here?
Probably the lemurs, actually.
What are these things over here? I've never seen them before.
They're called Patagonian mara. They're South American rodents. They're most closely related to guinea pigs.
They're quite cute, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a bit strange looking, but everybody seems to like them.
Apart from the lovely surroundings we're in, what's special about this zoo?
Well, I suppose what makes the zoo different from others is that it's free. You just come into the park and walk around the zoo, which is great for people if they don't really want to spend the entire day and a lot of money.
Hello, you. Ooh. Oh my God, they're the cutest things I've ever seen. Look at them, they're like little men.
When did it first start, the animal adoption scheme?
It went live from the 14th of April 2011. We had some budgetary cuts to the park, and we were trying to sort of find new ways which we'd be able to keep financing the zoo here. So the zoo ethics meeting, they raised the idea of an adoption scheme, which other zoos do have.
When people come here to visit the zoo, do they then sort of pick animals that they want to adopt?
Yeah, I think obviously the first part of it would be coming down and finding out what animal you'd want to adopt. There's lots of literature here and people here who can help you find out more about those animals.
Here we are in the butterfly house, and as you can see, it's quite steamy in here. There's lots of beautiful little butterflies. So how can people find out more about the adoption scheme?
They can visit the City of London website and go through the links to open spaces in Golders Hill Park, or they can come down here and get some literature here from the zoo, speak to any of us here at the park. We can always help.
Thanks so much for showing us around and for all the information and everything. It was a really great day.
No worries, glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope to see you all down here soon. Thanks a lot.
So as you can see, a lovely place to visit, and it's all for free. Well, we are reaching the end of today's program, but something that I would just like to leave with you. I know uni can be very stressful, and I was in uni with mental health problems already. I didn't develop them there, but I had them already when I went into university. And I know how hard it can be and how, you know, sometimes it feels very lonely, but there are so many services available now in universities that weren't available when I was going to uni. So do, as we heard earlier, do make use of those. But also, I know sometimes the degree, getting that qualification can seem like such a massive deal. But please remember, your life isn't based on a degree. You are not your degree. You can actually still make it in life without one. So look how many people, you know, come straight out of school, sometimes don't even finish school, and they start their businesses, they get really successful, they start working in a company from the bottom and work their way up. So don't get overwhelmed with the thought of, oh, if I don't have a degree, my life is over and I'm not going to make it and I'm good for nothing. It's not true. To be honest, I do have a degree. I studied business studies, but I haven't even used it. The stuff that I studied, I'm not doing anything to do with that today. So sometimes you don't know how the turns that life is going to bring. So don't overstress about having this qualification, and because that actually makes you not even be able to study properly, and it just puts undue pressure on you anyway, and you could end up messing everything up anyway. If you get one, great, no problem. If it's important to you, that's amazing, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have one. You can still make a great success of your life. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's program, but if you have a story that you would like to share, or you'd like to give us your comments about past shows, please do so. We do love to hear from you at home. You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet or Instagram us @ChrissyBShow, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And of course, if you'd like to know more about me and the kind of mental health issues that I had to deal with, but I also overcame, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Until next time, bye-bye for now.